So today we're going to talk about management's 7 deadly sins, and it sounds a bit ominous, but I assure you it's lighthearted. Some of these challenges may not feel very lighthearted when they're occurring in our organizations, but certainly our discussion today will be. And the goal of this talk is to sort of explore, I think, typical, missteps, and sometimes with very good intention, but not such good outcome, some problems we find ourselves running into, whether our organizations are large and complex or we're just starting out in a very entrepreneurial environment. These tend to be some universal truths in our experience over the years. And at the center, we've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of organizations across the globe, and it's just interesting as we look back and explore this how common these things are. So I'm very interested to hear from all of you, and as those of you who would be open to sharing today when we're in the Q&A portion, if this rings true for you, if you have different experiences. So with that, let's jump in. Well, I do a lot of traveling, as I'm sure many of you do as well, and I'm always on the lookout for kind of interesting new businesses or ways of sort of communicating the vision and the value of what organizations are bringing. And this slide really, this screen really jumped out at me. I saw this advertisement in this great place. I mean, it looks like they want to help people. Center for Weight Loss, and they're expanding. So, that's good, but I'm wondering, are their customers expanding? Because if they are, it may not be such a good message since we're trying to get smaller here. So we want to make sure what we're trying to do and how we're delivering the message to our customers is aligned. Another thing I saw the other day was sometimes projects don't go well. And while that can be tough emotionally, can be tough financially, we have to make the best of it and see if there's any value we can derive from the experience. And I came across this one, and I thought, well, unfortunately, not a good initial experience there, but maybe they can get something out of it. So I hope that leaves you grinning a little bit. Projects of all sorts sometimes don't work out, but we know organizationally we thrive by transforming our visions, our new ideas into value, right? And not all visions and new ideas make it. So we have to ensure that we're making the best decisions possible with the best information possible, surrounded by effective decision making. And as I walk through and talk about these 7 deadly sins, let's see if it helps us to do that. So first one, absence of a robust project management process. When we think about translating ideas into value, that usually comes in the form of a project. Because when you step back, I think essentially all organizations are doing one of two things. They're delivering projects or they're keeping the business running. Operational work and project work. You pull back, that's really just about everything we do, right? And the project side of our work is just this. It's about bringing new value because they're investments. Projects are investments. And underlying that investment approach, that project work, what is the process we're following? Do we have a predictable, repeatable, consistent model? Organizations that do not get in a lot of trouble. Because projects get done, but the question is at what cost? So this is our first item that we're going to consider. From there, treating half-baked ideas as projects. This is a challenge. Again, new ideas are great. Vision, right? Forward-looking, all very important. But we need to balance that with discipline because we can't pursue and explore every idea similarly, right? We have to know when and how to say no. And if we don't do that enough, sometimes, I would fair to say that of the 153 people out there in the world listening to this today, every organization at times, if not always, feels over-allocated, right? We rarely have a abundance of resources available. Rather, we're challenged with having more opportunity, ideas, requests, and demands than we have resources. So if we're treating those ideas that aren't fully baked, so to speak, fully gelled, right, as projects, well, that can be very risky for us. So we'll explore that. Lack of effective sponsorship. This is a big deal. Sponsors, as leaders in our organization from a project and program perspective, have a very important role in the success of those endeavors. And when that sponsorship is lacking, puts us at great risk. So we'll explore. And at the project delivery level, do we have the appropriately skilled resource in place for the nature of that work? Oftentimes, we're assigning project resources based on their availability, based on them breathing, right? You're available, you're in front of me, you're it, rather than your skills, your background, your experience aligns well with the nature of this developing project, and so we will thoughtfully place you in that position. This is certainly what we wish for, this is certainly what we strive for, but oftentimes that's not what happens. And when we have a misalignment of the project manager resource and the nature of that project, again, we can get in trouble. So let's explore this as well. The next item I want to touch on is metrics. We call those at the center vital signs. What are the vital signs by which we are tracking and, very importantly, communicating the health and the status of the project? Again, where we see inconsistencies here is certainly everyone is communicating, typically, some level of status of a project, but if that is not performed, if that is not communicated in a consistent fashion, it's very difficult for the senior ranks of our organization to make sense of that portfolio of projects. Right? I need an apples-to-apples view, and I need, moreover, certainly accurate information. So from a leadership perspective, we're making the most informed decisions possible. The sixth item for us to explore is not conducting timely project triage. So do we have the systems in place, the protocols in place to let us know, to raise the red flag, so to speak, that we're starting to get in significant trouble? Right? I don't know if you've ever been in these environments, but it looks something like this. How's the project going? It's green, everything's great. How's it going? It's green, everything's great. How's it going? It's red, it's on fire. Well, what happened to yellow? Right? We went from everything's okay to it's a complete mess, right? We didn't have an early warning system, puts us in a very reactive place organizationally, and that's a missed opportunity. So let's explore. And then the last item is the big picture. Do we have the visibility we need across the campaign of projects that we have undertaken, so that we have that, to use an analogy of from the airline environment, an air traffic control tower, a dashboard view, yes? This is an important piece as well. We need to be able to up-level that and look across the business. So these are the things I'd like to explore with you today. Let's jump in and talk about. So the first one, again, a lack of a repeatable process at that project level. Well, when we think about processes and successful repeatable processes, in some industries it is a foregone conclusion. I mean, we would never expect to not have these sorts of processes, but in IT and the business realm, often it's lacking. So let's explore